A billboard in New Mexico made me wonder if the state tourism board had just gone through a divorce. Couldn't have been their intention. Why does this Camry smell like Long John Silver's? Thank you for being a part of the podcast at Bud Ford Comedy. Thank you for subscribing, liking. Thanks for Apple Podcast visits. Thank you for all you're doing on Spotify, YouTube. Thank you for Facebook, Instagram hits. It's very kind. I really appreciate how fast this is growing. I find it interesting that we have access to every song ever recorded in an instant. Meanwhile, we don't care about any of the songs anymore. Couldn't have been the intention once again. I just took a long drive and I went from Arizona to Oklahoma and I went all the way to Tulsa from Arizona. That's a minimum of 16 hours. It's going to take you a few more probably if you stop at all. Somewhere right across the border into the state of New Mexico, I saw this billboard and it said, maybe the most unbelievable billboard I've ever seen. It said in bright yellow, huge letters, lowest in education, highest crime and drug use. Why can't we do better? Listen, I almost drove off the road. Not because of the statistics, but because who puts that on a billboard? I never seen a state roast itself before. Every other state I drive into, and I drive into a lot, they have signs up that say, Texas welcomes you. South Carolina welcomes you. Enjoy our beaches. Visit our mountains. Enjoy our history. New Mexico's first impression is, hey, we are struggling. Yo, it's supposed to be a billboard, not a cry for help. One of y'all needs to talk to somebody immediately. And you might be going, well, it's okay for them to be honest. Do you really want that much honesty in everything? I mean, imagine if we have to put that on dating apps. Hi, I'm Steve. Been divorced 4 times. Credit score 480. My kids won't talk to me. Anyway, looking forward to hanging out. Hi. You don't want all that. You don't want to lead with everything. Can't just tell them everything you know. Buy them dinner first or something. I grew up in the South, and down in the South we have a lot of sayings, but one of them, especially when we get terrible news, usually is, well, there's always Mississippi, or, well, there's at least Mississippi. It's therapeutic, sort of part of our healing process, and I didn't realize that every pocket of the country has their own Mississippi as I've continued to live out here in the Southwest and or the desert Southwest. What I found is that New Mexico is the Mississippi of this region. We're all like, yeah, but could be worse. We could be New Mexico. And I'm not blaming New Mexico citizens. I'm going to tell you what, for my money, one of the most beautiful states you could be in America is New Mexico. How did y'all screw this up? I don't understand it. It's like California. You have every single thing. New Mexico's not the same as California. But how do you wind up struggling for money? California, you have the whole world. New Mexico, you have a beautiful state. Nobody came. Maybe you should invite people. Imagine the meetings. We're all like, folks, here's what I need to do. I need to increase tourism. Any ideas? Dude in the back of the room raises his hand. Hey, I got an idea. Here's what I want to do. I want to publicly list all of our failures. Rest of the room's like, no pictures of White Sands. We have balloons, Albuquerque, sunset, cactus with sunglasses, anything. This is what you brought. I've seen breakups with better marketing. It ain't good. Funniest part is that somebody had to print the billboard. I want you to think about this poor person. You walk into your boss's office. Sir, this doesn't feel right. Maybe we should put a mountain on it or a smiling family. Boss is like, nope, hit print right now. We're going to hit them with shame. That's how we're going to get people here. We're going to shame them into coming. Bless their hearts. They put at the end of the billboard, why can't we do better? Because you're spending your money on billboards reminding everybody not to stop and that you suck. That's why. My grandmother, bless her sweet southern heart, would have said, we don't tell strangers our business. It's not what we do. You don't announce it to everybody. You have some sweet tea, some potato salad, and you get through Thanksgiving. You definitely don't put up a billboard on Interstate 40. Maybe the billboard's helping, I don't know. I don't know what it's helping with. Maybe people drive through New Mexico and think, you know what? I'm going to turn my life around now. Meanwhile, the guy at the side company, you know, he quit. Like, he's done. Last day on the job, he walked out and he said, I don't know how to tell you all this, but billboards are supposed to encourage people to visit. Y'all sucking them out. I don't know about you, but I've always wanted to quit a job that way. Never get to. Weirdest things people have left behind in the back of an Uber, and I know what you're thinking. Who cares, right? Me too. That's what I was thinking. But I want to go one step deeper than the stuff they left behind. I want to talk about the bad Tuesday that all this stuff has attached to it. 500 butterflies. Who leaves 500 butterflies in the back of an Uber? How do you get home and you and your wife are about to go to the movie and you have to have a conversation? Honey, there's 500 butterflies back here. Not really lost and found anymore. It's more like the beginning of a Disney movie. They also found dentures with only 2 teeth. What happened to the rest? Was Grandpa slowly losing an argument? Now he's stuck driving around town looking like an abandoned jack-o'-lantern. They also found an ankle monitor. You know, your probation officer's got to be sitting there going, our GPS shows your ankle bracelet is in a Prius heading towards the airport. It's not the kind of stuff you report to Lost and Found. Find an ankle monitor, you probably should just go ahead and call Dateline. Skip the police. They found a police radio, and I don't know what the story is behind that. Either we have a cop that had a very long day, or we have an impersonator that probably should be reined in a little bit. And then somehow they found 2 wedding dresses, not 1, but 2, in the back of an Uber, which I really think is 3 seasons on Hulu, isn't it? Isn't that where we are in this world now? Yes, it is. You don't accidentally forget 3 wedding dresses. Something's afoot here. It's definitely evil. Somebody forgot a mini fridge. Again, what happened here? You didn't notice that you forgot it. Get home, unpack, brush teeth, get ready to go to bed, wake up next morning, walk in kitchen. Honey, where's the refrigerator? Oh, I remember. It's in that stupid Uber. Live fish. Uber drivers still trying to vacuum up all the crackers and stuff. Don't nobody understand that. There's live fish in the back. Smell like Captain D's. Live fish, smell like Captain D's. Everybody's vacuuming. No fun for anybody. Tell you what I learned. Every one of these objects, though, if you think about it, represents either someone's worst day or best day, whether it's the butterflies, the fish, the dentures, the handcuffs, the police radio. There's a whole movie attached to all of these items. And at this point, I do not want Uber to return the stuff. What I want is I want the passengers to have to stand in front of America and explain themselves. I need to know why your wedding dress, ankle monitor, and your fish were all found in the same Honda Accord. Maybe people are that forgetful, I don't know. If next year's Lost and Found includes one groom looking for his butterflies, then you're going to know I was right. That's all I'm saying. Just trying to be basic with the straight up econ here. Now, I don't know where you are with music streaming, but I know this. One of the biggest dudes in the music industry has something to say about what's going on with streaming. And they say that it could be heading for trouble. And it's not because the technology is bad, obviously. It's because they removed the people. See, what we forget is that when FM radios showed up, and if you're younger than 30, FM is on the radio in your car, that thing that you don't use. But if you ever did, if you had to have it, there's an FM version and an AM version. Well, AM owned the world. A lot of talk, a lot of fun, comedy, that kind of thing. Then music showed up on FM, and they were running, it sounded better, right? We had stereo. But But we also had wall-to-wall music. And so we all predicted this is the demise of AM radio. Except it wasn't. Because AM still had people. It had a morning guy, had the local weather, had a dude giving away concert tickets, had life. I always say when I'm talking to owners or business people about radio, the primary function, first and foremost, of a radio station is people want to be where people are. So we have to create something that people like and they'll gravitate to. Then we can multiply that on out. Same with anything, right? If people hated Walmart, they wouldn't be going. Now, while I'm going to tell you that streaming is incredible, I'm not going to argue that at all. What I am going to say is that we don't have humans between the songs. Now, I have every single song at my beck and call ever written, and I don't care about a single one of them. Almost never do I listen to music, ever. The magic was the humans. So now it's all wallpaper, background noise. It's the soundtrack for me to order a meat thermometer from Amazon. You may remember your first kiss when Bon Jovi was on the radio, that first road trip, that breakup, and your favorite songs and how they got you through it. Well, now Spotify has 700 scientifically built songs to help you fold laundry. But at some point, you don't want your playlist optimized. You want somebody saying something stupid like, hey, you ain't gonna believe what happened over at the Walmart this morning. Every once in a while, you want to hear something different, right? Because that's life. The article goes on to say that people are basically using Apple, Spotify, Amazon, the music portions of these as one good one in case somebody doesn't have a deal with someone else, Tidal, whatever that is. So they're all jukeboxes with different logos, which is kind of the same thing that happened to radio, but nobody wants to talk about it because of the financial crisis that it was in. You have one morning show, you have one afternoon show, we have corporate contesting. None of it smells believable, and it's all completely out of touch with reality. That's why no one listens to radio anymore. Kind of the same thing with TV, right? It doesn't feature locality. So then it just doesn't matter. And because of the finances, those two have separated. So unfortunately, with the Spotify, Apple, I'm not picking on any of these people, but Amazon, all of the music services, it's like arguing over the price of gas. In the end, I've got to have it, so I'm just going to stop wherever's close. Artists don't know you like they did back in the day. That's also creating some problem with the business model. Back in the day, you become a fan of insert act here. You were a big fan in the fan club of, I'm going to make this up, but let's say Brooks and Dunn. So eventually you go to enough of those backstage things and you become a part of the culture, and Ronnie and Kix now know you. You wait in line, you buy the music, you get your photos, you post them online. Now your favorite singer doesn't know anything about you. There's a Spotify algorithm that does, and an algorithm named Kevin that does. But the artists, they don't have a clue. They have to show up with 300,000 followers. So they have their first job from their hometown is to figure out how to build that number before they get a record deal or anything else. 300,000 is the minimum. Any more than that's bonus. Technology keeps trying to do what technology does, right? Separate us. We have self-checkout, QR codes, all that stuff. AI customer service. Music, unfortunately, we replaced with DJs with algorithms, right? No one's talking, just, this playlist, that, blah, blah, blah. It's all there. Maybe Jimmy Iovine's right. He's saying, he's, one of the legendary people in the business. He's saying that the business is struggling when you talk about the streaming business because it doesn't attach to anyone. That's exactly what I'm saying. We've already lived this. That's the beauty of having old people around. We've seen some things. So don't blame me when the next hot thing on Spotify is some dude named Steve who occasionally goes, y'all ain't gonna believe what happened to me at the Walmart last night. Thank you for spending time with me today. My name is Bud like the beer, Ford like the truck. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and being a part of @Bud Ford Comedy. Have a great day.